Mark and Steve from Canyons. How you doing, guys?
We're very well.
That's what I like to hear. You're down to two. How many usually is there in the band?
There's normally 5 of us.
5 of you. So you're doing a bit of a stripped down set this evening.
Yes, yeah. We lost one to New Zealand. He's gone. He's not coming.
Oh, he's not coming back.
We got a couple down with a lurgy. So.
Oh dear. Hope it's not too serious. What's the first track you're going to play for us tonight?
We're going to play a song called "Lost in This World."
Off you go.
I met a strange old man out on the open road. He offered me money for the price of my soul. Out on the open road, I don't mind to admit I'm in a little deep this time. I get lost in this world. I saw a blinding light in the blackest of forest nights. Offered up for to light my path, but I politely declined. I don't mind to admit, in a little deep this time, I get lost in this. I get lost in this. I get lost in this world. I met a beautiful goddess out on the dusky down. She say, come here, son, lay me for a while, and I'll show you what life's all about. I don't mind to admit I'm in a little deep this time. I get lost in this. I get lost in this. I get lost in this world. In this world. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Most welcome. So you guys are from Northampton. What's a live music scene out in Northampton like?
Northampton music scene is thriving.
That's good to hear.
We've got some great promoters, good venues, loads of bands, lots of kind of young indie bands who are too good. They're really good.
There's always loads of good bands there, wherever you are, and they're
it's,
really.
It's great. It's a great place to be. I mean, I grew up there.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up there, and in the 80s there's always been a scene there, but there was never the sort of level of quality of bands that there is now.
That sounds good then. It sounds promising, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see.
They've done a great thing with all the venues as well. It's just in the last few years, there's venues that have been there for years that have just all had a serious spruce up. Everywhere's got great PA, great sound guys, lighting, That's
really
a really good handful of venues in town now, yeah.
That's really nice to hear, because I would get a lot of people come on this show and they say, oh, it's absolutely dreadful, we can't find anywhere to play and all this, that and the other. So if you're listening to this show, get over to Northampton and start playing, innit?
That's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and of course you've got the Road Menders there as well, so bigger bands can come and play, can't they?
Yeah,
as
the,
well?
the Roadmender, it's not what it used to be for me.
Is it not?
I mean, if I had to make a top 10 of all the gigs I've seen,
Yeah.
9 of them would be at the Roadmender.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I've seen so many great acts there. Now they focus more on old acts from nostalgia
Yeah.
and tributes. There's loads of tributes
Is there?
Yeah, and it just seems a
It's a
little bit
shame.
of a waste of resource.
Yeah.
That's such a great venue.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I mean, I've probably not been there for 30 years or so.
Yeah, that's when it was, for me, that was when that place was just buzzing every week.
Yeah. Because it's what is it? I don't know how many. What's probably old? About 500, 600, is it?
No, it's a
something
bit bigger than that. I think
Is
it's
it?
about 750 or 800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a New Model Army fan, and I think they'll be playing
they,
there soon.
they are coming up again, yeah.
Yeah. Seen them there a couple of times. Yeah, a lot of bands from the 80s,
Yeah.
late 80s, early 90s played there, didn't they?
Yes.
You know, sort of a lot of goth bands, a lot of punk
all
bands,
the names,
post-punk bands,
all the names through the 90s, they all came through. All the big names, Blur and Oasis and all those guys.
Yeah, on the way
They all
up.
played there on the way up. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing a band there called Loop. They were like a psychedelic band. That was really, really good.
I might even have been at that.
Yeah, well, that was really blasting. Yeah, that was a great gig.
yeah.
That was.
Terry Bickers,
Terry Bickers, is that?
he was your man. Yeah.
Was he? Yeah, excellent. What's the next track you're going to play for us?
We're gonna play. What's that one?
What do you fancy? Mother Earth?
A song called Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Obligatory sort of look after the world type song.
Bit late. Off you go.
Goes a bit like this. Well, I met a tiger. I asked him to score. He said, I kill you, then I eat you. Don't ask me no more. I met a politician. I asked him the same. He said, the world is full of problems, and you are to blame. Because every time a man bites the hand of Mother Earth as she feeds him, and the well it runs dry, man is still thirsty, and he cuts another vein and he bleeds her. He cuts another vein and he bleeds her. I met a child with a diamond. I asked him what it's for. To make rich folks richer, keep the rest of us poor. And I met an ape and he looked bereft. Say y'all be to blame when there's nothing left. 'Cause every time a man bites the hand of Mother Earth as she feeds him, and the well it runs dry, man is still thirsty, and he cuts another vein and he bleeds her. He cuts another vein and he bleeds her. He bleeds her dry. He bleeds her dry. Well, I asked the weatherman if it was gonna snow. Coldest winter forever, so I better lay low. I asked the newsman what happened here. Said it's none of your business, are you a commie or a queer? Are you a commie or a queer? Are you a commie or a queer? 'Cause every time man bites the hand of Mother Earth as she feeds him, and the well it runs dry, man is still thirsty, and he cuts another vein and he bleeds her. Cuts another vein and he bleeds her. dry. He bleeds her dry. He bleeds her dry. Bleeds her dry. Thank you very much.
A shout out to Rico Burrows and a shout out to Stuart Inger. Stuart Inger says hello from Nottingham. Sounding great here, guys. Thanks for listening and watching the show. So I take it, Steve, you're the main songwriter in the band.
Yeah, shared duties. Matthew's not here tonight. Writes some cracking tunes.
So how do you go about writing songs?
I always start with one line. If I can get one line.
Well, lyrics first.
Yeah, one line of lyrics. Nice little guitar part or piano part or something. Squish them together and see what comes out. I tend to write using recording stuff, so I'll block things out like Lego and then sort of chop them about and see how it goes. It's a lot easier than the old days for me doing it that way, because I can sit there and put a part down and then just go over and over and over it and come up with new bits to go on.
Yeah.
In the old days, it's just a guitar and a voice, and you sit there and in your bedroom
Or with a cassette player or something, or a cassette recorder or something like that, and recording it. So now you're using like software of some sort.
The wonders of home recording is.
Yeah. What software do you use?
I use one called Reaper.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, they all seem to look the same to me. I don't know, but I use that one. It was pretty cheap and it works. So.
You can sort of slide it along, can't you, and move your waves and put instruments in and this, that, and the other. Yeah. I always find the hardest thing to do with anything like that is like record the vocals once you've got all stuff done, really.
Yeah, I mean.
Mind you, you're doing the vocals as you go along. It's not so bad, is it?
No, it's just bang things down and it doesn't matter, does it? Because you're not paying for time, so throw any old stuff at it and see what comes out.
And build it. So how long does it usually take you to...
Songs take forever. They take forever. We're so slow at writing songs. We've got, the album, most of the songs we're doing tonight are off an album we finished last year. Some of those songs, we started writing them 10 years ago.
No!
Yeah, it's that slow. We're not a productive band.
So how often do you gig and stuff like that?
Lately, not that often.
Yeah, because obviously you're missing members.
Circumstances we haven't been able to gig for a while, but prior to that, we get about and mostly local stuff and just get out there. And
have you got the idea in your head you're going to rebuild the band again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some folks who are going to come on board and join in, and we're sort of at the point now where we need to get cracking, get on with it.
Yeah. And what's the next one you're going to do for us?
Next one. Aspidistra? Yeah, the next
Aspidistra. This will be an interesting one.
Aspidistra. Yeah. Okay. I'll leave my key next to the aspidistra. You can slip 'em under the mat when you leave. Next to my soul by the medicine jar. I'm all out of faith and belief. Ooh, don't you worry about who I am. Ooh, don't you worry about me. just as hard as I can to be your rock. I'm trying just as hard as I can to be your rock. To be your rock. Be your rock. Yeah, to be your rock. This life that we lead is the bitterest of pills. We find small mercies where we can. There's no time for hate, division and greed. All we need is love, and love is all we need. Ooh, don't you worry about who I am. Ooh, don't you worry about me. Ooh, don't you worry about me. 'Cause I'm trying just as hard as I can to be your rock. I'm trying just as hard as I can to be your rock. To be your rock. 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 Yeah. Rock. Be your 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 rock. Tricky, that one.
Oh, I still think you did very well. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I mean, an aspidistra was something your nan used to have, isn't it?
Every Victorian terrace needs an aspidistra.
Yeah. And now sort of like 1970s style house plants have come back. Like people are buying like cheese plants and rubber plants and stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to plug somebody now, if that's all right.
Yeah, you go away, plug in.
We've got the most awesome plant shop in Northampton. This is the most rock and roll thing I'll say tonight. There's a little shop in Northampton called Not Another Jungle. And I honestly walk past that place. I can't walk past without stopping and looking through the window. It is like a jungle. It's a beautiful shop front, and it's nothing to do with that song.
But have you bought any plants from there?
Yeah. The wife spends a bit of cash in there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit back in fashion now. It's a bit of all the rage, isn't it? Apparently.
Plants are good. They clean the air.
Yeah. I've got a few more shout outs. A shout out to Paul Hudson. A shout out to Nelson Lopez Schifono. A shout out to Holly May, and a shout out to the guys.
Holly May, that's my girl.
Was there? Big shout out to Holly May, and a shout out to RJ Archer and the Painful Memories band. So, how long have you been playing the drums, then, Mark?
Me, always.
Always.
Yeah, always. I started playing drums when I was 15.
Did you? What inspired you to take up the drums?
My dad was a drummer.
Was he?
Yeah, my dad was a drummer, and I started playing when I was 15. Did my first professional gig when I was 16.
No.
And yeah, that's been my job ever since.
A professional drummer?
Yep. Well, yeah, drummer for about 25 years, but musician, yeah.
Oh, excellent. So
Professional
you're one of these lucky
musician,
people who
writer.
make a living out of drumming.
Sorry?
Have you got any big names you can drop in who you drummed for on this and the other?
Yeah, a few.
Go on then, off you go.
No.
Come on.
I don't know. I've done bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces through. Come on, let it cat
Annie
out of the
Lennox. I did some work with Annie
Did you?
Lennox.
Oh,
I
that's
did some
fantastic.
recording with Annie Lennox. And
I don't know what he's doing hanging about with me.
I've done some stuff with Mark Armand.
Excellent.
Gabrielle. Yeah.
So you're a proper session musician then?
I was. I'm not so much now. I mean, in the 80s, I did a lot of sort of session playing and stuff. But I probably spent most of my career as a writer and producer, and sort of off the back of that, I found myself doing various sort of sessions and things. Because the way recording works these days is, you know, everybody doesn't converge on a big studio, and, you know, it doesn't work like that. People tend to do bits and pieces as and when, you know, and myself, like a lot of drummers, have, excuse me, I've got a studio at home.
Yep.
Where I do a lot of stuff, but I do a lot of drumming there, and so I do what they call remote sessions, where I'll people send me tracks and I'll play on them and send them back, or I get people.
So you don't even have to haul the drum kit around anymore.
No, you don't. I've got a massive, great big drum kit that's all in different pieces, and I just get out the bits I need, which is nice. So yeah, I don't like. These days, if I have to go out and do a gig, I don't really like it, unless I've I'm lucky enough to have a bloke who carries things around for me.
A roadie
sometimes.
and stuff like that.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Not always.
I found when I used to be in a band that I used to be helping the drummer quite a bit, because obviously the vocalist ain't got very much gear. So if the drummer's got a big kit, you feel guilty standing there watching them haul it all in. So but you tend to give them a hand.
In my experience, the second you play the very last note, you look up and everybody's gone, and you're just there by yourself. They're all at the bar and chatting up the girls, and you're there
breaking the kit down,
unscrewing little things and making you always drop a bit that you can't find, and something will bounce under the stage. And
yeah.
And the venue will be on double yellow lines, and it'll be raining, and you'll have to walk for half a mile to pick. Yeah, it's horrible. Don't do it. Don't do it,
really,
kids. Get a proper job.
That's your apprenticeship, isn't it? All that sort of thing. If you're not suffered like one man and a dog and all that sort of thing. And
yeah, I think it does make a massive difference. Actually doing all that stuff. When people say things like, the Beatles recorded their first album in a day, they didn't really. They spent about 7 years practicing, And
well, yeah, they did out in Germany and places like that.
Exactly, and there's definitely a lot to be said for doing that. I mean, it's not as easy to do that as it was. There aren't that many places to play. When I was a kid, if you wanted to hear music somewhere, it was a band.
Of course.
It wasn't somebody playing records.
No.
It was a band, and even in little towns and little villages, there would be a hotel that over the weekend would have a band in.
Yeah.
There would be a dance and an event. It was
a lot more sociable though.
It was, but I grew up. My dad was a drummer, and
what sort of bands did he play in?
Well, he played jazz mainly, sort of 50s, 60s. In the late 60s, he got a resident in Peterborough. He got a job in Peterborough playing at casino.
No.
In Peterborough, yeah.
God.
Where he worked every single night. Christmas, New Year, he worked every night in this casino.
I wonder if anybody's listening, especially Michael Day, because he listens quite a lot. He's a bit older than me. Can you remember where a casino was in Peterborough then? Or anybody listening remember where a casino?
This would have been from the early 60s to the late 60s. The licensing laws changed with casinos, and all of a sudden they couldn't have music and stuff. But that was my dad's job. My dad used to,
But did he enjoy it?
Well, he was a music teacher during the day. By that time, and he'd got a couple of kids, he decided he ought to get a proper job. So he worked in a secondary school as a music teacher, which I think at the time used to pay about 11 quid a week.
Quite a lot of money then.
Yeah, but working in the casino, he used to get £46 a week.
Oh.
So I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. The casino was more lucrative.
Paid him 4 times more than his day job. So he did it for years. And I say growing up as a kid, me and my brother just thought everybody's dad was a musician.
Because it was just natural in your household.
You just thought that's what everybody did.
Yeah. What was the name of the first band you was in? Can you remember?
Me, the very first band I was in. Oh, blimey. I played in a couple of bands in Peterborough when I was about 14 or 15. I think I played in a band with a name like, I think they were called Hot Sauce or something like that. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I was doing a gig last year in Canterbury.
Yeah.
In a theatre in Canterbury. And somebody in the audience started heckling me, and it turned out to be the bass player from that band in Peterborough. He came and apologised after, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's I don't remember much beyond that. I didn't.
Hot Sauce ain't too bad anyway.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody out there who'll remember.
Not remember. What about you, Steve? What was the name of the first band you was in?
First band I was in was The Charm.
Charm.
We used to do house gigs. We used to kind of go out every weekend and play at a party in a house until they got, they always got stopped.
Of course, yeah, because too much noise and stuff like that.
Turner, and there were little terraced houses, and you got the singer standing on a cast iron mantelpiece, with his hand on the ceiling.
Oh, that sounds absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they were good fun.
Well, in them days, they didn't confiscate your equipment like they do now.
They didn't.
No,
there was
they just
none
come
of
around
that.
knocking the door and say, "Shut up!"
Give us a good old talking to.
Yeah.
Oh, not you lot again. I'm sure we met you last week.
What's the next track you're going to play for us, guys?
Next tune we're going to play is Pablo. As a story about this.
Go on in.
So our bass player Ed one day sent me a little Facebook thing with a story from an American newspaper about a clown in the Midwest who'd been struck by lightning twice. And for ages I thought I'd dreamt it. I'd sort of forgotten about it, and then thought I went back to him. I said, I've written this tune, right? And it's like, imagine if there was a clown and he was struck by lightning twice, and would he be the luckiest clown or the most unlucky clown on earth? And he said, yeah, I know, I sent you that story like last year. And
it's got into your subconsciousness.
Yeah. It's a true story.
Yeah, true story apparently, yeah.
I reckon he's pretty unlucky myself personally, yeah.
So... That night when the rain come down and the circus rode into town, Pablo, he looked up at the cloud and said, Lord, please not tonight. El payaso afortunado, El payaso afortunado. Fortunato. He moved under the old oak tree and he cowered there underneath. He shook like a trembling dog. He was a broken man. El payaso afortunado. Afortunado. Pablo.
was a wonderful song.
Thank you.
Michael Deas, the guitar sounds great. What make is it?
This guitar.
Oh, now you've opened a
now
can
you've
of
got me
worms,
going.
haven't you? Here we go.
But
So
what
I
me
used
is
to sell-
Michael. He's on the phone.
I used to sell guitars a long time ago, and I always wanted one of these, but could never afford one. It's a Heritage 535, and it's made by the old boys who used to run the Gibson Custom Shop factory.
Oh,
When
nice.
Gibson moved to Nashville, they all said, "No, mate, we're staying here. We're going to stay here and buy the factory." So they bought the factory. They started making Heritage guitars. So they're a guitar that's more Gibson than a Gibson. And I must point out, I can only afford this one because it had a broken headstock and a repair, so it's a lot cheaper than it would be. But it's a lovely thing, a really lovely thing.
That's sort of like a vintage guitar that they would have played around in the
Yeah.
50s style.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's based on a Gibson 335. The amp's nearly as old as me. That's a 1970 hand built in Canada, a thing called a Traynor, made by Pete Traynor.
Did you deliberately hunt down the amp as well?
Say again,
Did you
sorry?
deliberately hunt down the amplifier as well? Search it out.
I bought one of those again for budget reasons. The sort of holy grail for guitar amps for me is that Fender Deluxe Reverb. It's a low powered, not a big amp, and you crank it, it makes such a vicious tone. And these are essentially the same circuit, and I get that for sort of half the price of one of those Deluxe Reverbs. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
I
how-
do like old kit. Old kit's nice. It always sounds better.
Yeah. I
We're
mean, is
all
that
fans of, we're all fans of old gear.
Yeah.
yes?
My house is full of it.
Oh,
My
and-
studio. My studio. is full of it.
Antiques or
No. My
No,
my
I've got
studio
audio
is-
equipment.
Yeah. I've got a massive collection of vintage microphones and vintage snare drums. Yeah.
oh, yeah? Are you a big fan of analog recording then?
Yes, I am. When I first started recording, it was in the days of analog.
Yeah.
And as things transitioned into becoming digital, it was all very exciting because all of a sudden everything was much quicker.
Yep.
But as everybody sort of adopted the digital way of doing things, after a couple of years, we all started realising that it didn't sound quite as good. It was cheaper and it was more convenient
Yeah.
and it was quicker, but it just didn't sound as
What do
good.
you do? Sanitise the sound.
Yes, to a certain extent. It's digital and analog, whether it's television or anything, the analog version is sort of warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And the digital version, it's like, if you watch movies on a digital TV, they tend to look a bit like an episode of Coronation Street. They don't have the same sort of filmic quality. If anything, there's slightly too much detail, and it's kind of the wrong kind of detail.
Well,
Now-
seeing
now we're all
people's
buying
people's blackheads.
No, but you can see that people are wearing makeup. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
You can
yeah, if the
see-
lighting's not
you
very
can
good.
see that the light is not real.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's that thing with, for me, my studio is digital, but the beginning of the chain is analog. So I have a collection of vintage analog microphones, and I have a collection of very good analog preamps, so that at least getting the signal in
Yeah.
is, you know you're getting a good quality analog
Sound,
signal, and then
yeah.
you use the. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong. Digital equipment is great these days, but you can use the digital side of things to kind of mold what you've got. But if it's like Steve was saying, if you've got a great guitar, then that's always a good place to start, and a good microphone and a good preamp and a good snare drum or whatever. It's always a good place to start.
Yeah, see, Paul, our man over there who's doing the mixing, he won't use a digital desk at all, will you, mate?
I
He's changed his
understand
tune
that.
now.
I understand that. I mean, digital stuff is great, particularly now, because they've made an effort to make it sound like it's analog.
Buy a plug-in now,
and
can't
that's
you?
the thing, yeah.
You've got like an analog plug-in.
Yeah, and so I mean, when I use a lot of the plugins I use in my studio are replicas of, a Neve 1073, but the difference is there's a switch and you can switch off the mains hum, which you couldn't do before, But so yeah, it's. I think most engineers and most producers and people will tell you that the best thing is a combination of analog and digital, and it's that thing like writing a book with a pen and paper or writing a book with a word processor.
Yeah.
If you're a rubbish writer, it's still going to be rubbish.
That's true, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I mean, you ain't going to make a bad song good, are you?
Exactly.
Either
No,
way.
It's making stuff sound good, and just starting with the right tools. And but yeah, there's obviously no substitute for ability or talent.
Yeah, sure.
So-
I've got a few more comments. Dog's Teeth say, sounding great dudes. And
Thanks, Dog's Teeth.
Yeah.
and Michael Day says, back in the day, I bought a Gibson bass in a second-hand shop in London. So, you still got it, Michael? What you done with it? Goes back a long way, does Michael. And he's been around, and he listens in every week, bless him.
That'll be worth a few quid now.
There's a friend of ours in Northampton, a bass player, who's a huge fan of vintage Gibson basses, which is weird because not many bass players seem to like Gibson basses, but he's got a fabulous collection of Gibson basses.
I mean, I watch Porn Stars, and somebody comes walking in with a mad guitar, and some of these guitars are crazy money, aren't they? Literally crazy money.
Yeah, they can be.
So,
I've been trying to sell a couple and nobody's buying them. I've got one that's coming up 50 years old. That's it came out of a Leo Fender factory. I thought I'm never going to sell that.
Yeah.
I never use it, so I thought I'll sell that.
Is that Music Man?
Yeah.
Music Man.
Yeah, and it's been sat on eBay for months and months and months. Not a sniff.
Kids today, they know nothing.
They're all into rap. That's what it is. There's plenty of young bands, man. What's the next track you're going to play for us?
We're going to play Anna Lou. Is
Anna
it
Lou,
next?
yeah, it's on the
sort
list.
of loosely based on Jilted at the Altar theme. Close enough.
There's nothing I can do about Anna Lou. She's always on the take now. She took me too. She broke my heart in pieces that I can't fix. Can't put it back together with a concrete bit. Anna Lou, I swear I'm gonna find you. When I do, then girl, I should probably forgive you. Woo. I propose that we be married at the Church of God. The witnesses and people, they would gather there. I sat and I did wait for the bells to chime. She was outside with another, he's a friend of mine, Anna Lou. I swear I'm gonna find you. When I do, then girl, I should probably forgive you. Woo.
guess I'd forgive you.
Shout out to Susan Brigstock Parker. Thank you much for listening and watching the show. Michael Day comments, the boys remind me of Creedence Clearwater Revival. Is any?
Oh, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I would take that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, great band.
Did they influence you in any way? I thought there's a bit of Kinks in there.
Yeah, Kinks. It's,
I think he writes kinksy songs.
Yeah.
I've said this
that
before.
has been said before.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
Kinksy.
it's a great compliment if they do.
Yeah, well, you're quite witty with your lyrics, aren't you? You know, so and
That's why it takes so long to write.
and Ray
Bitter and
Davis is
twisted as well. A bit bitter and twisted.
Ray Davis is a clever
He's
lyricist.
a fantastic songwriter. Still is.
Yeah, so.
There's an album he put out probably about 20 years ago. It seems like 5 years
Yeah.
ago. Working Man's Cafe. Check that out. That is just
I'll see if I find it in a
world class.
It pops up in a charity shop. I shall dig it out.
Yeah, it's a great. Every song on it is just absolute classic.
Bought a Bob Dylan album this week in a charity shop. I'll give that one a go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you hear his last one? 80 years old.
This one I've got was 2000. I think it was 2000.
No, the recent one, yeah.
There's one come out a couple of years
Yeah,
back.
I heard the most recent one. No, I don't go deliberate. I've got a few Bob Dylans in there. I don't deliberately buy them. You know what I mean? But if I come across one, I'll buy it if it's cheap enough. You know.
Bob Dylan's always been one of those
Yeah.
songwriters who I feel I should have liked, and I've always tried to like him.
Yeah.
Because everything I like is massively influenced by him,
Mm-hmm.
and I just never got Bob Dylan until this last album.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
yeah.
I've gone, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's talking about.
Thing
and
is,
and then
Bob
gone
Dylan-
back and
yeah.
listened to the old stuff.
He is a bit of a.
It's all there.
He changes his colour, doesn't he? He's a bit of a David Bowie. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
he's done so many different styles of music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing with Dylan, though, is that, you know, all the people in the past who've done Dylan songs.
Yes, yeah,
And, you know, I'm a massive fan of the band, you know, and their association with Dylan.
yeah. Because is there not an album that he wrote with the band? No. What's
Well,
the name?
yeah, I mean, they were...
Were they not his band?
They were his band.
No, what's the name? What was that? Oh, something the Dead. I can't remember. Who did he do an album with?
Oh, he's done albums with all sorts
Yeah,
of
he's
people.
done
But
loads-
he did,
yeah.
he
You mean his band that he tours with?
yeah, he toured
Yeah.
and recorded with the band
Yeah,
in the early days.
Grateful Dead. I think he toured with the Grateful Dead somewhere along the line as well.
I don't
I
know.
swear I was reading that the other day. Yeah. Yeah. But as his backing band, the Grateful Dead were like his backing band.
Really?
I think so.
I can't imagine the
Yeah.
Grateful Dead as anybody's backing band. Not even the Grateful Dead's
Yeah, I
backing
swear.
band.
Yeah, well, perhaps I've misread it. Perhaps I've got it wrong. Somebody will tell me. But yeah, I mean, my favourite one is like Bob Dylan's Desire. That's a sort of like a late 70s one by him. But everybody will have different favourite Bob Dylan's albums because, like I say, he's got so many different styles of music, hasn't he? You know what I mean? He's dabbled in country, you know. And all
Oh, there's
different-
no doubting he's a totally genius writer.
Oh, yeah.
Rough and Rowdy Ways. That's the one that I
Mm.
that got me. That's the recent one. That's what it's called.
I can't remember the one I bought the other day. I'll have a look in a second. I'll tell you which one it is. I took a photograph of it because I was like, oh, I'll buy that. Because it's only like 50p. Great, and charity shops are great for that sort of thing, aren't they? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, no, I can't believe I just bought that. I don't think I've got a picture of the Bob Dylan one either. Oh, yes, I have. Oh, there we go. Modern Times.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's some great sort of rock. He sort of goes back and plays sort of like rock and roll music with half the songs are like sort of 50s rock and roll songs. Yeah, they're great. Them ones I love them ones, and the other ones are sort of ballads, which I don't like so much really. But there we go. I like half the album, which is better than not liking none of it.
Well, I suppose so.
Any other influences with you guys?
God, yeah, so many. Everything I listen to influences me. I've been for I don't know 20 odd years. I've always I've liked this sort of American sort of underground country stuff.
Yeah.
Things I don't know, Americana I suppose
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
broad term. I mean, there's all those bands like Son Volt and Wilco and all the others that I can't remember. There's loads of them. They just write great songs, and they all seem to mean it. They all
Yeah. They tell stories mainly, and like you yourself tell stories, really.
Yeah.
You know, and what about you then, Mark?
I'm a big fan of all sorts of things. I mean, I'm a huge Beatles fan.
Yeah.
Always have been, and I'm always astonished and staggered that one band could produce, you know, a collection of albums where every single one was totally brilliant and every song was totally brilliant. And
So Ringo Starr's your hero, is he?
absolutely fantastic drummer, massively well. He's not overrated anymore. For years, underrated. Sorry, for years he was very underrated, and you know, people like to make fun of Ringo, but not these days.
Well, no, I think if you're in a band and you make that many class albums, your drummer's got to be top as well.
Yeah, but there's something about his playing, and you know, the thing with the Beatles, they were very much a sum of the parts, and what he did was a huge contribution to all of the songs, and a lot of stuff that he did was not that conventional. I heard an interesting story. My brother was talking to Paul McCartney, and Paul McCartney told my brother that what they used to do was John Lennon and Paul McCartney would have a song that they would want to record, and they would meet up at the studio, and John would go into a quiet room and show George how the song went, and Paul would go and show Ringo, which is probably why they played the way they did, because Ringo was listening to a song from a different perspective. You know, Paul would play him the bass part and say, well, look, this is what I'm doing. And so he'd go, oh, okay. You know, he'd do
fit in with it,
something that fitted with that. And then when they all came together, there was a bit of a thing going on. Because in the early days, you know, it was very conventional what he was doing. He just did it so much better than everybody else.
See, it's nice to know these things, because really, you know, but you don't really study music from the drummer's perspective very often, apart from somebody like you who is a drummer.
Well, another drummer who I love is Lee Van Helm, who was a drummer with the band, but also a great singer, you know, a fantastic singing drummer. Don Henley, another great
Eagles.
Drummer and great singer.
There's a touch of Eagles in your music as well, though, isn't there?
Well, there's that.
Might be by accident.
That kind of Americana.
I guess it's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
Songs.
yeah. I mean, because you really can't place. You could say the Eagles are a rock band, but you could say there was a country rock band as well, wouldn't you? Really?
Well, they were very lucky and very clever, weren't they? They walked that line where there's not many people can do that, where the rock and roll people like you and the country people like you. It's
yeah. Or Creedence, like you say, or Creedence Clearwater Revival, similar sort of thing.
Well, yeah, Creedence were another band. Yeah, you listen to a lot of their stuff, and it's very country influenced. But they always sort of pushed themselves as a rock and roll band.
Yeah, they're bluesy as well, though, aren't they? Very bluesy. Yeah.
They seem to be. They were maybe the first sort of country band to do that. Let's play it like a rock and roll band.
Yeah,
play it loud, you know, fast and powerful with a big voice, you know.
Big voice coming out of that little man.
Yeah, it changed.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, it can't be coming out of him. You know what I mean? It's like watching when you've listened to Amy Winehouse on the radio or wherever you've heard her the first time, and then you see a picture of her, and you're like, nah, it can't be. You know what I mean? I was expecting a really sort of large black lady, I'll be quite honest. And it's like, God,
yeah, the thing is, though, now when you hear a voice like that, your brain immediately goes to Amy Winehouse, doesn't it? Which is a good thing. I mean, you no longer, you know, you'll hear a voice like that, and you don't just think, oh, well, it should look like this. It should sound like that.
Yeah.
You know, you hear a voice like that, and you probably think Amy Winehouse before you think anything else. Which is a good thing.
Of course it is, yeah, without a doubt. You know, so, yeah, absolutely amazing, Amy Winehouse, and amazing. What's his singer out of bloody Queen's Crew? Like, I forgot his name now.
Fogerty.
Yeah.
John Fogerty.
John Fogerty. Yeah. So he's a wiry little sod, isn't he? He's tiny, and you expect this sort of really, really big guy to be singing, and when you see him, you're like, nah. Showed him my wife like a few years ago, and I was like, look at him. She's like,
look at Rod Stewart and Mick Jagger.
Yeah. little fellas.
They are quite little fellas,
both
but
of slight
they've-
stature.
they haven't got a powerful a voice as what John Fogerty had.
No, I wasn't going for the voicing. I was just thinking of tiny men in rock and roll.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, I would say the smallest one out of them all would be Iggy Pop.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's anyway, we'd have chatted too much and not played enough music, but you're interesting guys.
Let's play you the saddest song I've ever written.
Oh, off you go then.
Okay. Well, I lost my dog to the farmer's gun. He never hurt no one. He never hurt no one. And I lost my car to the rusting rain. And them shining wheels never roll again. They never roll again. They never roll again. They never roll again. All is lost. All is lost. All is lost. Well, I lost my horse to the broken bone. In that freezing field, he was so alone. And I lost my job to the banker man with his greedy hands. Damn the banker man. Damn the banker man. Damn the banker man with his greedy hands. All is lost. All is lost. All is lost. Lost. Well, I lost my girl to the needle jab. She's the sweetest damn thing that I ever had. She's the sweetest thing, the sweetest thing I ever had. The sweetest thing, the sweetest thing I ever had. Dry eye in the house.
Shout out to Julie Simmons and Liam Vincent and the Odd Foxes comic. Mark has so many great stories. Hi, Steve and Mark. Mark produced our album, Top Chap. There we go.
Hello.
I just checked it. Bob Dylan toured with the Grateful Dead in 1987. Yeah.
Oh,
He
right,
had Grateful
okay.
Dead as his backing band. Yeah, because
1987. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about in the 70s.
No, oh no,
that wouldn't
no,
work.
no. No, it's 1987. I'm going to have to check it out because apparently it's pretty good. There's a few videos online as well to watch it. A few full concerts. Yeah, so I have to give it a go. See what it sounds like. Do you want to play two back to back to us? If you've got two to finish off with.
Come and Go.
Yeah, so Come and Go. By Blackwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Go on.
We come and go like the changing of the season. We come and go like the rolling of the tide. I hope the years they serve you well. I guess only time will tell. Come and go like two lovers in the night. Everybody need a little hope to cling to. Everybody need a strong arm to hold. We all need a little joy. Step into our lives just to drag us all in from the cold. Drag us all in from the cold. In spite of what we are, sometimes we let ourselves down. We never look too far ahead. We come and go like the faces of our leaders. We come and go like the big old moon in the sky. I guess everybody knows when a friend or family goes, leaves a hole when you never say goodbye. Everybody need a little hope to cling to. Everybody need a strong arm to hold. And we all need a little joy. Step into our lives just to drag us all in from the cold. Drag us all in from the cold. Drag us all in from the cold.
This next one is a murder ballad
Oh.
called Blackwater. 1, 2, 3.
My sweetness, she lies neath the bushes. My sweetness, she lies neath the reeds. She sleeps neath the muddy black water. Just a few shallow feet beneath. My sweetness, I killed her in the morning. My sweetness, I done killed her dead. For love is a mean old devil, and he told me to smash in her head. Under the pale moon, I slipped her in the water. A raven and an owl did see. Should find her, don't bring her back to me. Don't bring her back to me.
the good doctor tells me, from which there ain't any cure. And these straps he uses to bind me, they won't come loose now forevermore. Under the pale moon I slipped her in the water, raving and out at sea. Under the pale moon, if you should find her, don't bring her back to me. Don't bring her back to me. Don't bring her back to me. Don't bring her back to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Canyons. Really, really enjoyable set. This is about...